God exists, and scenario B where you believe that God doesn't exist. So we got two scenarios. Now we take C and D. You believe, as a person who doesn't believe in God, you believe that the afterlife doesn't exist. Yes? And I believe, as a person who believes in God, that afterlife does exist.
Afterlife in what?
Whatever it is, forget the details.
Will you come back as a horse or?
No, I'm not talking about reincarnation.
Buddhists believe that, don't they?
Yeah, they believe in reincarnation.
Kind of, just something apart from emptiness. Let's put it that way. Is what he's saying.
They come back as something else.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of what it is.
Idea. I like that.
Yeah.
You can be a horse in heaven.
Well, we'll discuss the reincarnation in a minute.
No, but has he heard of paradise and hellfire? This is what our belief is based on.
Yeah,
we believe in hellfire and paradise. Yeah. So our destiny can be dramatically changed on the day of resurrection if we believe in that. If we are a disbeliever or a believer. If we believe firmly that God exists and we die upon his belief and he exists, then we will be rewarded with paradise. But you as a disbeliever, a convinced disbeliever in this life, if you appear on the day of judgment thinking that there was nothing after that, then you may lose a lot by being sent to hellfire forever. This is what you will lose
because you didn't research in life.
For removing the
100 years.
you have more to lose than us. If we die and there's nothing, okay, you will say you wasted your life worshipping something that does not exist, but it doesn't matter. It's black hole after that is nothing. But you have much more to lose. This is where you are taking a big gamble.
Bigger risk. That's all it is. It's logic.
So you have to consider that before you die.
Because
Read
you had
the
an opportunity
scriptures.
to research. Yes.
Yeah, this is your responsibility because God has given you a brain. As you say, he has given you a reason. Yeah, I've got a French accent. Sorry.
You're French, very nice accent.
Yes. Yes, I am. Well, I'm French. Yes. So it's your responsibility to take the measure to read about the scriptures and about what the prophets come. What do you think the prophets came for? All these prophets. In Islam, we believe all the prophets came in one lineage, coming with one message to all. They all came together, saying, "Be careful, we have a God. Submit to Him before it's too late. Do not disregard this. It's very dangerous for you. You're taking a big risk.
Repent now.
Turn to Him, as Jesus said."
Oh yes.
No. It's all a matter. It's all a matter of living your life to His terms and not your terms. God has created you.
Oh yeah, you should, definitely. We don't say you should not be
Do
good.
no harm to anyone.
Because you see, what you do in this life,
Morality, yeah.
what you do in this life will determine your afterlife.
That's what.
And that's why, yeah, so what you need to, you see, one thing you need to do is, you need to first put away whatever you knew about Christianity and look at Islam with a new lens, with a fresh eyes, basically, as I say. So it's something that you need to not juxtapose of your.
Do you want to convert Christians to Islam?
It's not about. Look, it's not about.
Not the Christians.
It's not about who I want to convert. For me, my duty is to basically convey the message. Now it's up to you.
To Christianity, isn't
Well, that's fine.
It's not fair, of course.
It's up to you now to accept or reject that message. But you see, on the day of judgment, when you will appear, if this is important. If the day of judgment, when it arrives, and you're going to face God, yes. Let's assume for a minute that what you're saying is wrong, and there is actually a God, and there's actually a day of judgment.
You see, this is what gets me about not Christianity, but Christian religion. They say you will be judged. It's like everyone, the Catholic. I'm thinking about the Catholic. Yeah. They base their belief on being guilty. You could walk down the road. Oh, if I looked at that person wrong, I feel guilty, so I've got to confess it. Yeah. And then you'll be judged. Oh, it's too heavy.
Well, you just confess that between you and God. We don't go to a priest. We don't go to the church and talk to some human being.
Well, it's the same idea.
No, you see, when you say guilty, the reason you feel the reason.
I think the Pope is crazy because people believe that they worship him like he's God on earth.
No, we don't do that.
No,
Islam is
I'm
different.
just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. No, he isn't.
That's idol worship.
Absolutely.
It is.
He's a human being like all of us.
Because they're brought up like that, and
One thing you need to realize that in Islam, God doesn't punish you immediately if you commit a sin. You have, until you breathe your last, you have the ability to ask for forgiveness and to correct your mistakes. No, but you're not feeling guilty all day just because you're going about your life. It's only when you do something wrong, and that is, I think, regardless of whether you're an atheist, or a believer, if you do something wrong, you're going to feel guilty.
Yeah.
So whatever you consider wrong
Well,
as
a lot of
someone,
people, no, they don't feel guilt. They're psychotic.
Sorry?
There's a lot of people that knife you, no problem.
no, we're not talking about those exceptions. We're talking generally.
There's a lot of people
Sorry.
in the world like
Yeah,
that.
but before this
Yes, I know.
happens, they have transgressed and keep transgressing until they feel comfortable with it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very good point, actually. Because certain people, when they commit anything wrong,
First they say,
initially
"Oh,
they feel guilty.
Yeah.
Whether it's murder, whether it's
repeat it.
stealing money or something,
It's
they
normal.
feel guilty initially. But because they keep repeating and it becomes a habit, it becomes like second nature to them.
It could be.
Yes, but at the end of the day, look, every religion, whether it's Islam, Christianity, Judaism, even Hinduism, Buddhism, there is a common morality which we
Totally,
accept
yeah.
as we believe. But you see, for a person who is an atheist, where do you get your morality from?
What, parents, I guess?
Yeah, but those parents might be someone like, for example, in your case, Catholics. So they're getting it from.
they
Forget your parents.
No?
Forget your parents.
Well,
How do
I
you get your moral
I
from?
think everyone has got a innate, moral.
Yeah.
When you're in closed door without your parents, there are
So
things you may do
you have your
in
conscience.
private and in closed door on your own that you think is wrong to do. And your parents didn't talk to you about it. You know it's within you.
Well, you
that
brought
you're,
up certain ways, but then it's up to you to go straight or.
Yeah.
But your parents, there's some things they never mentioned to you that you know you're in closed door that you shouldn't do, but you still do it.
Okay.
And you wouldn't do in front of anyone else.
You see, there are many things. There are many things that you get influenced by. Your friends, your family, your environment. What do you read?
Politics,
Yeah.
politicians.
What do you read? What do you hear?
Yeah.
Yes. All these
We all
things
have
they influence
influences, yeah, of
you.
course.
So you see, when you as person who is your morals basically are subjective based on your environment, then you see where do you draw the line as to what is moral and what is immoral. For example, I'll give you one example. In Islam, in Christianity, I think even in Judaism, yes, and in other faiths as well, we believe that abortion is wrong, for example.
Which one?
Abortion.
Emotion.
Abortion.
Abortion. Sorry.
Yes. So abortion is considered okay in most of the liberal Western societies and also in other societies. Yes? That is literally basically ripping a child. I would call it a child. Some people don't even use that term. They say it's an embryo. It's
When they're that small.
yeah. Regardless, I mean that's
don't think of
that's
it
got
as a
that's got a
human
potential. That's got a potential of life. How can you say it's not a human being?
According to scientists, they said
He's already a human being.
there is a life.
And killing a human being is
after
as you kill all generations to come after.
You see, this is what I mean. You see, you would not consider that as wrong. In fact, you wouldn't consider that to be human being even. But I would. And that is what I'm saying. Where do you draw the line about morality when we have differences like this? Who decides what is right and what is wrong?
Even doctors today, they're performing these operations, so they.
What is that
They must
job?
be feeling
But
some
then
guilt.
if they think it's a young girl who's been raped, they think, well, it's for her
Exceptions,
good.
or you can talk about.
Yeah, we're not talking about exceptions. We're talking about general. You see, most abortions that happen is not because of they are the victims of rape.
Yeah.
No, no.
Most abortions that happen
fully consented.
because
The wrong sex or something.
no, not wrong sex. Even that is an exception.
Fully consented.
It's just because
clubs and
yeah,
at the back of the
it's just a one. It's a what they call it, a one night stand or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So that's what I'm telling you. This is what.
form of contraception.
So
isn't it?
on what you see, that person is going to feel guilty. That person,
What, the woman?
well, yeah, of course,
most
the
of the
woman,
time, yes, most of
when
the
she
time. Yeah,
when she goes through abortion, she will feel guilty. But then after a few abortions, I don't know.
Drinks a bit and then.
Yeah, I
a
don't,
bit
to be honest, look, this is an individual case. But I'm saying generally, I feel that is wrong.
Yeah, well, look, Catholics
What do you?
don't they?
What do you? No, you as a person who's not a Catholic, what do you think about someone, a baby in a womb being ripped apart piece by piece by the surgeon who performs the abortion? Do you think
I don't
that's?
think it's that violent, is it?
Oh, you haven't seen it then?
No, I haven't.
Maybe you should one day.
I thought they just.
You should know.
No.
No,
It's horrible.
they rip them limb by limb sometimes.
Oh my God.
Yes,
I think I have
and
heard that, yeah.
I'm being very generous in explaining what it is. It's much more graphic than that.
So that's when-
Usually, it's after how many weeks? 12, at least 12 weeks or even more than that. It's when the soul has already descended onto the
no,
baby.
but the
So
abortion is
he must be resenting some feelings. We do not know. Something that will come back on the day of resurrection. He will say, why have have done that to me.
But basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that, you see, this is something that society has considered to be right, to be legal. Otherwise, those surgeons will be arrested.
Well, there's a problem now in even Ireland, isn't there? There's a great
I think,
anti-
Ireland has basically a law where if you have medical needs, they let you. But before that was forbidden.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, I think it was a woman who had this complication and she died and a baby died or something like that. And then they had to basically amend the law to allow for medical conditions.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm not talking about medical conditions again. I'm talking about general. I'm not talking about exceptions. I'm talking generally abortion is permitted, legal. It's something that is basically we see, I think, almost in all countries around the world. But when you look at the details of it, it'll be worse than you would have ever imagined. But most people try to kind of ignore it because they know that they don't want to go there and they don't want to know about it to feel guilty. But they will definitely, once they realize how bad it is, how they perform it, you'll definitely feel guilty.
The child has not been given the right to leave. Why is not this right to leave?
But the question
Why
here,
do you suppress his right?
And for your concern, the abortion is a Masonic concept. It's a Masonic concept.
yeah, but let's not go into those conspiracy theories. What I'm saying is that, you see, the important thing here to realize is that where do you draw this line in being moral and immoral, accepted and legal and illegal, and accepted and not accepted?
That's why
Who decides
the word
that?
of God is above the word of man, and we accept only the word of God in that direction that tell us to, not to abort a baby if there is no problem of health for the mother or anything like that.
Now it's
not
it's
kill.
been proved that the baby is alive after 3 months. So we consider the embryo
Which
as
is
a
about
human.
12 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'll give you another.
And that's the bad habit in this country after
No,
12 weeks.
here the point is not only about abortion. You see, we are talking about many things in the world. The question arises: who decides this? Take the example of wars today. We have wars here, and we have something called euphemisms like collateral damage, where the civilians die, they're considered collateral damage. Yes, just recently there was an attack in Mosul where the Americans and the Europeans, the allies, they basically bombarded the civilians and 230 of them died. This is something they have accepted.
Because a rocket can't distinguish between a soldier and a woman, a child.
Yeah, if you bombard from
They can
thousands
land a
of
target if they want.
if you bombard them from thousands of miles away, they won't be able to distinguish. So this is what I'm asking: who decides what is right, what is wrong, what life needs to be saved, what life needs to be preserved? Who decides this? You see, for an atheist, how will they basically respond to that question?
Well, I think anybody can, whether you have a faith or not, you know that like what you just explained is wrong.
Yeah, but these are legal.
it's wrong.
This is what I'm telling you. This is legal. When they bombard people from thousands of miles away, the people who die, the civilians who die, no one is held accountable for that.
You know how many died in Mosul for the last one?
Yeah, I just told him.
500.
Yeah, but
Mosul.
I've just,
500.
I don't understand it. What are they fighting about?
But that does not address the
yeah,
point, really.
I mean that's a totally different question. But I'm saying this is with regards to life and death. You see, here today we have countries basically. These are countries where people say that yes, it's now right to go and put our soldiers in that particular country because they don't have democracy or whatever the reason is. Yes, but then they go about carpet bombing the people, the civilians who die. They are the ones who suffer. They are the ones who basically their life has been turned upside down. And who's going to talk? Who's going to basically voice their opinions? No one. You see, that's the thing.
And defend them, defend justice. That's why we have to believe that there is a divine justice. And that's why we are in that position of believing that these people will be brought to account on the day. Like Hitler, like so many people who are destroying humanity. What right have they got to do that?
No right.
Why there is no justice? Of course there will be a justice. But God is patient. God has preordained things. They will come to account. Obviously.
We're going to the garden.
It's okay. So the important thing is that you see we need some sort of a lawgiver. which decides, who is impartial, yes, who does not side based on the race, the culture, the religion, or whatever it is, who is impartial, who gives justice to everyone. And this is what's important. We need, you see, without God, man will always be having these wars to decide who's right and who's wrong. If you look throughout history, most of the wars that have been fought is because two parties decide that they both are right.
Yes.
And what they do eventually is the might is right. We come back to the jungle law because whichever military is
Survival of the
stronger,
fittest.
yeah,
With weapons.
whichever is the strongest
See, I think
army, they decide they are the army.
The strongest
When
way
you
to
think
decide.
about it, it's
think the
not the mass
Darwinist
of the population.
view of-
It's politics.
Exactly, and who elects them?
The Americans, the Russians,
They're
whoever,
the
But the
strongest.
man in
innit?
charge.
They're the